What is good, my intro powered tribe? This is Alcee Daniels, and we are a community of like minded people who are powered by our no, recharged with kindness, not being nice, and propelled by our life's magnet, which I believe is our spiritual gift. All right, we are here tonight. We are going through part three. I decided to make a part three, and I thought about it from a different perspective. Our series has been quiet quitting. This has been a popular trend, a movement really that's been going on in workplace culture, and I thought we should address it um, and finish it off from a different perspective. Again, looking at it from the boss's chair. All right, so I think it's important. Sometimes, you've heard the term walking in someone else's shoes. This is, I believe, with in regards to quiet quitting, we need to walk in someone else's shoes. We need to understand what it's like to walk in their shoes, to hear and see things from their perspective. Um, Testing one, two. Okay. To hear and see things from their perspective. This is important because a lot of us, especially those of us who choose to quiet quit, where let me just define quiet quitting for those who are unaware of it. Quiet quitting is when you don't quit your job, you don't leave the job, but you go in and you just show up physically. You go up and you give half effort, half your passion is gone, and you're kind of going through the motions. You're doing just enough to get by and to kind of check the box and then leave immediately, etc. Now, most people are frustrated as regards to quiet quitting, and they choose not to give the passion, not to give the energy, not to give the focus and the attention that their jobs they usually do, is because they are being asked to do too much. They're asked to do more, go over and beyond, where in terms of where we are in society today, in life today, we are, I don't even want to say exiting, but we are on a better ground in regards to the COVID-19 pandemic, coronavirus. I think, a lot of people have chosen to get vaccinated, and the numbers are coming down. So things are looking we're on better footing. But the problem is that a lot of companies, a lot of spaces a lot of people have not come back to work. They've chosen to go to other places. The individuals, usually the introverts, formerly known as introverts, have stayed in these workplaces, and now they end up with their job to do, and those two or three other people's roles and responsibilities on top of theirs, while not being given proper compensation, not being given a new job title, not being given additional authority or position or anything like that. No further compensated, but still expected to do their job and someone else's with the same level of gusto. And now then it goes past your normal work hours, and then the time frame doesn't change as far as the expectations of getting your job done, but now you have additional roles and responsibilities. You're not being properly compensated, and that then you're expected to come early, stay late, all these kind of things. And people have pushed back against it. Thus, the quiet quitting. They said, we're going to work, we're leaving on time, and we're giving. A lot of people have chosen to just give the bare minimum, to just say, you know what, I'm going to check the box. I'm going to do my specific role and responsibility, and that's it. And I'm not mad at quiet quitting. I'm not mad at it overall. Now, again, the series we've been doing is quiet quitting is the right destination, but the vehicle in which we use to get there is the wrong vehicle. Meaning, when we choose to give half effort, when we choose to go into autopilot, when we choose to not give everything live with the mindset and attitude that everything my hands touch, everything I'm responsible for will be done with excellence. When we leave that and we're willing to give halfway and, half baked, there's another word I want to use, but I'm not going to use it. Effort and energy and focus, that's when things come. That's, to me, is the wrong vehicle. We should all want a proper work-life balance where you can leave on time and still have a life after work. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think how we choose to get there is the issue. Okay, now, boss's chair. You're the boss. You've been through this pandemic, and more times than not, you're burnt out. Now, and the expectations. See, this we got to talk about expectations. I'm the boss, and I have my own. Let's say either I'm the CEO or I have people that I'm responsible for, and I have a bottom line. Let's start with the real deal, cash money issues. Right? We got to make money as a company. Right. And you might work for some big Fortune 500 company, or you might have your own business, etc. But the bottom line is the majority of people start a business to make money. And by the way, if you are an entrepreneur and you have your own business and your goal is not to make money, I would strongly reconsider you not having that business. It's important. Nothing wrong with making money. Nothing wrong with that. It's the love of the money that gets in the way of a lot of issues, and especially from the boss's chair. If that's your only goal and mindset, it should be part of it, but not the whole pie. It should be a percentage of it, but not the entire pie. We're going to do and say things and operate in a manner and treat our employees or those that are clients and contractors, etc., in a certain way. This is important that we understand this, but we're in the boss's chair. We've been through this pandemic, right? You're the CEO, the CIO. You're over departments and company employees look to you. You give out roles and responsibilities. You delegate. You check in. You make sure the bottom line that money is coming in, the projects are getting done, and you're making sure people are doing their job with focus and energy. Right? This is what we do. As the boss, you're the boss tonight. You are the boss. You are the CEO. You're running things. Now, here are some things that we need to address. We need to see a lot of us that have pushed and say, you know what, I'm going to quiet quit. I want us to sit in the chair of the boss tonight. Because when you sit in the chair, when you have that hat on, when you have those roles and responsibilities, things will look a little different. Okay, you look at things from a different perspective. Here it is. Number one, making payroll. And now listen, let me tell y'all something. This pandemic exposed a lot of the weak areas, and a lot of industries were impacted, took it on in the gut, a gut punch, boom, and it wobbled a lot of companies. Some of them fell over, never to return, because the pandemic, it was based on people being present and out and open, movie theaters, hotels, etc. A lot of these places were impacted in a detrimental way. We're finally starting to ease back towards it, and people were starting to go out and travel, etc., etc. But a lot of these places were impacted negatively, and the bottom line got rocked and it dropped. And you're the manager, so you have to make some tough calls. You have to let people go, because usually, a lot of times, let me just talk straight, okay? We're in the boss's chair. Now, we make a good amount of money, but our job is to make sure the money and the things, the area that we specialize in, hotels, theaters, sports, etc. Run it. You have a gym or a coliseum or whatever, where people come to watch and to pay money to watch the basketball, the football, whatever. You're running things, and you have to make tough decisions so that you can continue to take care of your people. Now, some people take care of their what do I want to say? Some people take care of their shareholders. Some people take care of their employees. Let's just keep it real. Again, you're the boss, though. You have had to make these decisions. And usually when you take care of the shareholders, the employees are impacted negatively. When you take care of the employees, meaning you make sure they keep their jobs and you don't let people as many people go, then the shareholders are, so it's not easy. It is not easy. But I need us to understand that we need to sit in this chair. We need to see life and see decision making from their perspective in order to understand what is impacting and motivating a lot of people to let go of people and to make certain financial decisions, etc. So let's just, okay. So, but we're intro powered. We have character. We make decisions off of character. We choose to be kind and not nice. We choose to say no with a smile, meaning that we're going to say no to, just because things are tight. We don't have to treat our employees unfairly, but we have to be clear. We have to speak the truth, and we need to speak and understand that if there are certain things that we need to pay for, we got to pay for the lights, we got to pay for the insurance, we got to pay for salary, we got to pay for vehicles and transportation and inventory, all these things have to get paid. Have to get paid for, and we need to make sure that if the usual revenue that was coming in before the pandemic has dropped significantly, what decisions are we going to make? We can easily, again, from the employee perspective, we could easily sit and point the finger. You're not treating us fairly. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. I don't feel appreciated, etc. But until we sit in this chair, we're sitting in the boss's chair tonight. Until we sit in the chair, we have no idea. A lot of us will never stop to think, what is the weight that they're carrying in regards to keeping this company, keeping this business afloat? We'll never do it. Here's some of the issues we talk about. Problems, bosses with integrity. We're talking about bosses with integrity, not only focused on the bottom line, but the bottom line is not only focused on cash and revenue and making money, right? That's not, again, it shouldn't be the entire pie. It should be a percentage of, though. You can't say I'm starting a business and not want to make money. That's not unwise, okay? And if you look at it from a biblical perspective, the majority of the Bible heroes that we follow in the Bible that we read about, all of them had businesses. The big majority of them, over 75, 80, 85% of them had their own company, had their own business, had their own stream of income. A lot of us as Christ followers, we miss this, and we minimize and we judge and we point the finger and we label and accuse bosses and CEOs and entrepreneurs that have employees, etc. But we need to sit in the chair tonight. We need to understand that payroll, they're thinking about payroll. How am I going to pay payroll? And a lot of them would be kind and clear and say, you know what? I'd rather let you go and give you more time and opportunity to find another better paying position than to keep you here, not knowing whether that income and that salary is going to get paid to you or not. These are the kind of decisions. So you got to understand, you got to feel that, so that you can have some grace and some compassion for these bosses with integrity. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't have compassion for them, those that maybe, thinking about money. But again, quiet quitting takes the responsibility away from ourselves and puts it on the job. We need to take ownership of saying, you know what, if I'm not being paid and taken care of and treated fairly and compensated, I need to be equipped enough, confident enough, and trusting of God enough to say, you know what, I'm willing to take my gift. I'm willing to take my gift to another space where I can be celebrated and not just tolerated. So that's from the employee's perspective. But how do we do that as the boss? We want to keep people taken care of. We want to make sure we're getting them the salary that they earn and deserve. This is important. But how do we do that? Because I'm thinking about payroll. I'm thinking about finding good people to replace those who left. People leave. People have left. It was called the Great Resignation. That was a term that's been used through this pandemic. A term, the Great Resignation. People have left in droves looking for better opportunities. And what can you do? And you could go and threaten people. But again, you burn the bridge. This is what happens with a lot of sports teams where a star player is treated unfairly. We don't know the background, but a lot of times, usually, see, we assume, oh, the player is disgruntled, they're thinking about themselves, whatever, but we don't know how they've been treated, how they've been taken, how they not been taken care of, how they not been, all these other things. So they choose to leave, and that if player looks or is looked upon negatively. But when eventually the time goes by and we understand the truth of how those team owners were treating them, and now that team owner, once the truth comes out, they're looked upon in a negative light, and a lot of teams, the star players, especially free agents, don't want to go to that team anymore because they don't want to be treated unfairly, just like that other player was, i.e., the New York Knicks. See, we can get into this. This gets deep. I'm a sports fan. I like basketball. I like football, but we need to understand the people side. So we're coming back into the chair. How do I replace people that are lost? This is how we got to make sure we keep the work environment positive and somewhere where people are excited to come to work. Quiet quitting. We cannot just go through the motions and say, shoo, payroll. Okay, let's say we're able to check the box and the revenue is coming in and we're able to take care of salary and all the other things. But if we're not careful, there's more to just getting a job than just getting a check. I'm telling you, for sustained success, we're going to talk about that. For sustained success from a boss's perspective, you think you can just make sure the salary is good and that's it? These individuals, the Great Resignation, people were leaving, finding better opportunities, more income, etc. So what will make them stay with you and stay at your company, stay under your role, supervision, and be of you being their boss? Why would they stay with you instead of getting paid somewhere else better? These are the kind of things we need to understand. Last one, you as the boss or manager, you're not having good work-life balance. See, your employees are watching you. They're watching to see, okay, it's one or the other. Do you have good work-life balance? Are you able to go home when it's time to go home? Or are you staying late and you're doing all this extra stuff, again, for the bottom line? Or you say, you know what? I need to model for my people, my employees, so that they know I appreciate having a good work-life balance, and I want to model that for you. This is so huge, y'all. These are some of the challenges that bosses with integrity face. How do I make sure I model work-life balance while keeping payroll and finding and keeping good people, good, hard and smart, work hard, work smart employees? These are the things that pull on bosses. So again, a lot of employees that would never think and understand and don't even want to feel the weight of what that boss has to go through on a regular basis on which to deal with the bottom line and making a tough call, either to let somebody go, staying late. These are tough decisions because they have bosses have families. They do. Again, bosses with integrity that, again, have good work-life balance. These are not decisions that are made in a vacuum. We think they are, but that's why, again, from the employee side, I'm flipping back and forth between the employee and the boss side. But from the employee side, we need to choose who we're going to work for. That's why you choose the right boss that has integrity, that has work-life balance, that operates and treats people with kindness. We're going to get to how to address quiet quitting in your people. We're going to talk about that. Let me keep going. All right. So how do we address it? We know it's an issue. This is going on. You're the boss. You have employees that are there. They show up. They're giving half effort. They're not giving their 100%. What do we do? Number one, you got to show and give gratitude. You're the boss. When was the last time you told them thank you? No, like seriously, look them in the eye. Either you have a team meeting, or you have one-on-one. You either sent the email, sent the text, handwritten notes. These are things that managers and bosses with integrity and with character and with kindness, these are the things they operate in. Making sure you show and give gratitude on a regular basis, verbally, from your mouth, it doesn't digitally, physically, whatever. We need to show and give gratitude for our people. Make sure they know they are appreciated, especially trying to come out of this pandemic. The places, and I work for the school system, teachers are in desperate need of teachers. And if you're a principal and you're not acknowledging your people, you're not showing gratitude to them, guess what? There's people looking for those teachers, other schools and locations. They're looking for that same teacher you won't appreciate. They're gonna come poach them. Nothing worse than getting poached. As a boss, you're getting your people poached. You feel a kind of way. I would. Again, looking at it, sitting in the seat of the boss, how would you feel if people came and poached? Then you start to question, what am I doing wrong? How come my people are wanting to leave in droves where the other places are thriving, even in the middle of a pandemic? Let me tell y'all something. There's a way to do this in the middle of a global pandemic where revenue is at a minimal, we can still thrive. Because if we take care of our people in the valley, when we get to the top, those people will stay our people. They'll want to stay employed by us. Even if they're getting paid better elsewhere, they'll want to stay. Now, we got to make sure this is a bonus. We got to be competitive with our salary, not just the yearly 3 to 5% increase. We got to be creative. We got to be relevant. We got to understand and competitive on what's going on, the going rates of roles and responsibilities, jobs, etc. You got to know what's going on. Don't just assume, because I promise you, those employees know, and they're listening about how they should be being treated fairly financially and compensated. I'm telling us we need to be very careful. Okay, maybe if you can't financially do it, you need to take care of them in other ways. I listened to Michael Hyatt, and he said through the pandemic, shout out, you need a good planner, the Full Focus Planner. I use it. Here's mine right here. I like the big one, Full Focus Planner. Excellent. Michael Hyatt. And what they said they did was during the pandemic, and even as they were coming out of it, they I think it was something like a 4-day work week, and they ended their day at 3:00 instead of 5, like normal, every day. See, I'm telling you, again, it depends on what you want to do. Do you care about your people? Do you want to keep them long term, or you care about just only, not that it's not a factor, but do you only care about the bottom line, that money? Because you do that, it's like Stephen Covey talked about the golden goose, or the golden goose. Either way, gold goose or chicken, whatever. It's like if you make sure you try to get all the gold from the golden goose, the gold, the goose lays golden eggs. Okay, and you can look at it from one of two ways. And see, the farmer found out that the goose was laying golden eggs, and he was so excited. Every day he would come, there would be a gold egg every single day. But what happened was he got impatient and wanted to get all the golden eggs. So he cuts the goose open. He kills the goose, cuts it open, and looks to find, guess what? No golden eggs. Not all the ones he thought he was going to get. But if he was patient, again, if he took care of the goose, the eggs, the golden eggs of productivity consistently, it's about consistency, y'all. It's about consistency. So, number one, show gratitude and give gratitude. Number one way as a boss that you can address the quiet quitting in your people. Make sure they know they're appreciated. Make sure you thank them. Make sure you told them publicly and privately how much you appreciate them, how much you're grateful that they stuck around, how much you and then see, real, again, bosses with integrity, they don't have to know your whole life, but they could check in. Hey, how's your family doing? And because usually bosses know when you ask for leave and you got to share what's going on with your family, they know what's going on. And every once in a while, it's hard when you have a whole bunch of people. You got 10, 20, 50, 100, 200, 500 people under you. It's hard. It's challenging. But the question is, do you have the integrity? Are you willing to slow down, pause from again, it's a paradigm shift where you're willing to pause and to slow down, and you say, you know what? I know I want to make this money. I want us to take our company to the top. I want us to be great. I want us to, do all these amazing things. But you got to make sure at the same time, while you're heading for success on the top of the mountain, you're making sure your people are following you, making sure you're acknowledging them, making sure you're showing compassion and care. When and see, this is now part number 2 of how to help address quiet quitting and burnout. And burnout. Your employees are burnt out, whether they verbalize it or not, whether they've said anything to you or sent the email, they're burnt out. We're all burnt out from the bosses. So we think we can't acknowledge that we're burnt out because then it'll negatively affect our people. No, we need to be honest. We need to be honest. Just like that bonus of being competitive in our salary. One of the other things is say, you know what, guys, I'm burnt out. I'm tired. As the boss. I'm tired. And there's been a lot of things going on, a lot of things that, you got to be really discerning and understanding what you can share, what you shouldn't share, when you should share it. But that's why you hire the right people so that you can include them and being part of the team means that they can understand and you trust them with information, maybe sensitive, potentially, that impacts them. Now, if it's just one-on-one, you got to, use discernment, hold certain things. That's what the boss does. They're supposed to hold certain things that keep private what needs to be kept private. But if it impacts everybody, you should trust your people enough to share with them what's going on. Okay, next one. Okay, so your employees are quiet quitting, and you need to have that uncomfortable conversation. I'm talking about to the formerly known as introverts. This is tough. We've been in the pandemic, and we need to have a conversation. I'm talking about you see the employee, they show up, they're kind of going through the motions, they're not really giving a lot of focus, and see, it's not that they're leaving on time. That's the problem. It's because when they're barely working, they're giving half effort, no passion, no focus, things getting done wrong. See, these are the issues, right? When you're quiet quit, because I believe if your goal is not to work with excellence as an employee, there's going to be mistakes that are made. More mistakes, people are human. Everybody makes mistakes, but more mistakes are made when you go halfway as opposed to going, put your foot on the gas as far as what you do at work. When your name is attached to it, you want it to be done right. You want it to be done with excellence. Okay. So but you got to have that conversation with your employee, right? You're the boss and you want to be the boss with excellence, integrity, and clarity. Clear is kind and kind is clear. You need to address the employee that's just not doing their job very well. Okay, not that you wanted them to stay and you want them to have work-life balance. You do, but they're not doing the job. They're not getting it done. Let's just keep it real. They're not doing it. They're not checking the box, and they're putting a lot of pressure on other people because they're not thinking things through. They're not, thinking only about themselves, and it's putting pressure. And when things get dropped and things aren't done well, other people have to pick up and do their job, right? Do that person's job. So everything is tense, and everybody is like, "Who's going to have it?" You got to have the conversation. You're the boss. Here we go. We got to use the sandwich approach. Use the sandwich approach of right. See, yeah. Hey, Brittany. When we have a difficult employee and they're not doing their job, we need to have the sandwich approach. Listen. Oh man, I'm talking about bosses with integrity. If you're going to, you want your people to stick around. See, again, we're shifting the perspective. We're not the employee, we're the boss. So we still got to have things to get done. We still have to, you want to succeed and do well. That's nothing wrong with that. How? The vehicle, how we get there to that work-life balance, there's a way to get there. But doing it halfway and going half, you know what? That's what we need to address. Okay? Yes. That's right. Here, listen, the sandwich approach. Number one, you got to start with the compliment. Make sure, see, that's what the boss, we need to be paying attention to when people do things right, as opposed to when they only do things wrong. It's a global, it's a teaching perspective, but we need to acknowledge and say, you know what? Wow, I'll say that was excellent what you did today. Thank you. That was amazing. That presentation was spot on. We need to, again, show and give gratitude. Start there. right? Man, I said, you've been doing great this quarter. And make sure you're specific and genuine. Don't come with some phony fluff and nonsense. Be specific, be genuine, and be authentic. Don't come with fake stuff. People can sense that, and it's not gonna work. So be authentic, sandwich. So we start with the compliment with that employee. Then we address specifically with time, dates, projects, and things weren't done in the way it needs to be done. Be specific. The sandwich, the meat. We need to tell them specifically what, maybe remind them of what their role and responsibility is, and say on this day and on this time, we got to have documentation so that they can't say, well, I don't know, nobody told me, and so they can't push back and come with some flaky excuse. It's crystal clear. Clarity is kindness. Kindness is clarity. So you know what I say on that project that I work in technology, and you did a good job at collecting and organizing everything, but we left out a part where the other group needed to get part of this, and you excluded them. So that pushed them back. So we got time, we got dates, we got practical, specific things. So not only do we call out the error or the issue, then the last piece of the sandwich, we give support. And we say, you know what? And we give solutions. Don't just call them out and say, man, I say you need to step up. You ain't doing your job, and it's frustrating you. It's frustrating me, and your team is looking at you with frustration, and it's causing problems. Don't just call them out. Sandwich it. Boom. Compliment, issue specific, and with clarity, with proper tone. Watch your tone. Be kind yet clear. We can say what we need to say with the proper tone. You know what I say? We need to address this. This is where I need you to do better. This did happen on this time, and this is how we need to do it. So we come with the support. We come with the solution. We come with a suggestion, a practical suggestion, and say, how can I help you do your job better? How can I help support you? Because this is what we need you to do this. What support, resources, training, etc. What do you need to do this role and responsibility better? Or do we need to have another conversation? Well, I mean, maybe, see, again, you don't want to have the other conversation as far as maybe this is not the right role and responsibility for you. Maybe we need to look for somewhere else where you could shine and use your gifts and talents and abilities better. Or this is not the right work environment. So you want to have this initial conversation multiple times before you get to the point where you got to let them go. We got to do that. It can't just be a knee-jerk reaction, right? Okay. So we use the sandwich approach as the boss so that person feels okay. They feel acknowledged for the good they did. Okay. They got called out, not comfortable, not great, but now we're giving support. We're giving solutions. We're giving practical ways that employee can now learn from you, feel supported, and then go back and handle what they need to do. I'm telling y'all, this is the way to do it. This is the way that we can avoid quiet quitting, that employee giving half basic average effort. If we have the sandwich approach, that's one way. So we show gratitude. We use the sandwich approach with the compliment, the clear issue that you're having with specific times and days and specific things that happened. You don't have to include everybody that was a part of it. No names need to be mentioned, but you need to have the details so that they can't question what you're challenging them on. Then come with support. The last part of that sandwich, come with support. Then other ways you can address quiet quitting. I got 3 more, then I'm done. Number 1, give your people time off. Say, you know what? We're leaving half day on Friday. Everybody go home. We can't be so focused on the bottom line and this old, and it's become the old 9-to-5 paradigm, which our parents and our great grandparents worked under. Those days are starting to look real flimsy. They're not, it's not there anymore. I'm telling us the new workspace is no longer walking into a building, working from 9 a.m. with punching the clock. Remember the old school? Yeah, the card punch. Those days are looking far and in between now. We need to be willing to adjust and move forward and address what's going on and be aware and competitive, offering your people better opportunities to be successful, not necessarily having to go in, because during the pandemic, a lot of companies proved that you didn't need to physically be there 24/7, 9 to 5, or go over and beyond to get your job done. We proved it. So we can't come back now and say we expect everybody back, but without being, again, you're sitting in a manager's chair. You want to keep your people. You don't want them to quiet quit. What are you doing to address the needs of your people in this new reality? This is a new reality. So we got to be willing to adjust. As long as they can get that role and responsibility done, do they have to be in a building? Or do you want to be able to micromanage them and keep keep a Hawkeye's view on them every single day? See, that's why, again, you hire well. Then you won't feel the need to have to micromanage that person to see if you're paying. You start taking it personal when you feel like they're taking the salary you're giving them, giving half effort, doing halfway things. You got to maybe add a couple more layers in your screening process in which you need to get the right people to work for you. Then maybe quiet quitting won't ever be an issue. But if we as bosses never evolve and never progress, never advance, never upgrade our thinking, upgrade our systems, upgrade our processes, upgrade how we can show and give gratitude, upgrade how we can use the sandwich approach, new, more efficient ways, more consistent ways, more authentic ways, then we're gonna have an issue with quiet quitting. It's not going away. I promise you it's not going away. And then the bottom line starts getting affected. And then usually if you're you might be a boss of a certain department, but then your boss looks at you crazy because your department is falling. See, then all of a sudden you start feeling uncomfortable. Then some of us feel the temptation to want to crack the whip and say, hey, if y'all not going over and beyond, then we're going to start looking at, all these things, these trite and punitive ways to keep your people in place. That's not really going to get it done long term. You want to keep people quiet quitting, be punitive, but we need to be proactive and positive in which you address. So give people time off. These are just little things, right? Give support by lowering expectations. Okay. It sounds counterintuitive because I remember at the beginning I said starting a business, being part of a big Fortune 500 company, the majority of them want to make money. And there's quotas, there's deadlines, there's criteria, there's contracts that we need to get and keep and take care of people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Sometimes we need to be sensitive to a certain season of your company, of your business, to say, you know what? I need to consider lowering the expectations, lowering the amount of production for this season to give my people time to calm down, settle, catch their breath, and then go forward. So we got to be really sensitive to the people. We want to take care of our people. We have to be sensitive to the environment of what's going on. Are people stressed? Stress is killing people, literally. It's killing people. And if we're not aware of the stressful work environment that we may be producing, we are negatively impacting our people, our employees. We can do better. Life is stressful, but we don't have to be that place of their number one stress. Work should be fun and exciting, and we should be blessed and excited and energized to use the gifts and talents that we have to be excellent at what we do. Right? And sometimes we have to wait for that better opportunity, but whatever our hands touch, we should want to do with excellence. Learn and be more efficient, educate ourselves so that we can not only do this job better, but to maybe prepare ourselves for the next opportunity. It's all about growth. So that's the employee's perspective. But the boss perspective, we want to create an awesome, better work environment so we can take care of people, give competitive salaries, and that work environment. Man, I'm telling you, that environment and that space where people love to come to work, if we do it right, if we invest in our people, Long-term success is guaranteed if we invest in our people, and it starts with us as bosses. We need to invest in ourselves. Again, and consider working space environment. We should have opportunities for our employees to upgrade their skills, and we should be continually upgrading our skills, continually reading books, continually going to workshops and seminars, and interacting with other CEOs and managers that doing the same thing or doing the things that we want to do eventually. We need to continue to be in those conversations and sitting at those tables and being in those spaces. Then we create that same opportunity for our people. I'm telling y'all, intro power, this is what we need to do. We can run a business. We can have an awesome, excellent, exciting, even through the challenges, that our employees are not dumb. They're not ignorant. They understand what's going on in the world. They understand the challenges. But if we can come with creative ways and we can address the quiet quitting in our people, we can give them time off. We can lower the expectations. We can offer support. We can use the sandwich approach, and we can show gratitude to our people. That is the workspace environment that quiet quitting can be a thing of the past. All people want to do is get better at their job and be more efficient. And again, see, we can't minimize efficiency, and we think, oh, they didn't work the 8 hours. Even these salary, yearly salary things, we maybe need to reconsider and look at it differently, because if they're producing, I don't need you here for 8 hours. See, basketball, and like Allen Iverson said famously back in the day, or infamously, practice. Who needs practice? Basically, he was saying, practice? You talking about practice? I'm talking about the game. So again, in his mind, he was producing on the court, so practice didn't mean as much. But in sports and team sports, practice means everything. But in the workspace, if you can get it done, and teamwork does impact job performance, etc. And I understand there's a space for that, but let's just keep it real. If that person's producing, you know who they are, and we need to keep the teamwork environment that's important. But we need to reconsider, the hybrid workspace, home and work, home and in the office, home virtual and in person. What does that look like moving forward? Maybe test it out 1 day a week. I'm telling, oh man, you think people won't want to come and work for you? They won't want to. If you're, again, being competitive and you're offering things other places aren't offering, it's again to ensure that work-life balance, so that they could go home and they could go be on time to pick up their kids, and they can go to their kids' sports events and recitals and whatever else they got going on. You don't think they want to stay and work hard and smart for you? That's the kind of environment we need to be willing to consider, instead of sticking to the frozen success of the past. It's frozen because it worked in the past does not necessarily mean it's going to work right now in a post-pandemic world. Our world looks at things differently. So we got to really consider. I mean, again, working from the school district perspective, the school district, again, see, we got to consider stuff like keeping these kids, 4-day school day. 4-day school week. I'm throwing it out there because people are burnt out. You're burning people out. You're burning the teachers and administrators out. You're burning them out. Kids get burnt out too. Stress levels increase because the tests and everything. Okay, I'm talking. Let me, But I'm gonna speak honest. I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm gonna be honest. So I work from the school district perspective, but there's other, Fortune 500 companies and entrepreneurs, and you got employees, and I'm telling you, if you're not current and you're not willing to adjust and be malleable, you're gonna get left behind. A lot of industries got left behind through this pandemic because they were being unwilling to adjust. Now, every restaurant, takeout, you could call in or order on the app. Everyone. Before, if you were unwilling to step into that lane and say, "Oh, we want the people to come in," you got left behind and you lost some resources and income. You did, yeah, because you weren't malleable. You weren't sensitive to the trends of what's going on and how your workspace environment needs to adjust and be willing to pivot to take care of your people, to eliminate this whole quiet quitting thing. I'm telling you, there's ways to do it. And again, we slow down in our hiring process. Don't just hire the warm body because you mess around and get that quiet quitter in there, and then we got to have a whole different conversation. So there's layers to this, but I'm telling this from the boss's chair. Things are different, but it's about the environment that we choose to create. We model and we show gratitude, and we are willing to consider new ways of getting the same production that we need for our company to do well. There's nothing wrong with your company wanting to do well and go to the top and be trending and be the industry standard and et cetera, et cetera. Nothing wrong with any of that stuff, but how we do it, the vehicle, the destination can be right, but the vehicle can be wrong. And quiet quitting must be addressed from the employee's perspective, but the environment is up to us. A lot of them, if you really talk to them and sit them down, is because they weren't appreciated. That's been a going trend as I've been watching on Instagram and TikTok, and all these people talking about quiet quitting. They're quiet quitting. They weren't appreciated. They were dumped on extra roles of responsibilities, and they weren't taken care of. So they said, okay, I'm done. Quietly, in kind of passive aggressively. But we don't want to create those environments. We don't have that open door policy. I'm done, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was a lot of fun. And I keep saying I want to end the series, but this has been a fun series on quiet quitting. This is important. And again, this is about managers and bosses creating the space where they can operate in integrity, take care of their people, and be successful. 3 things can be true. 3 things can be true at the same time, and we can do it. It's whether we choose to make adjustments or we're going to make excuses. All right. As we close here, if you haven't already, join our Facebook group, the Intro Power Tribe. Again, we're going deeper, and I'm learning about different ways that we need to address and dive deeper into this thing. Thanks for joining us. This is the Intro Power Tribe. I'll say Daniel's here. Nice, as I close, nice people do finish last, but kind ones rise to the top and are sustained there. See y'all next time.